All right, here's one for you. A lot of people, have this thing like, you got to get out of the city. You got to get out of the city. You can't be in the city. You got to be out in the country. And I'm like, I agree. You do have to be out of the country when things get bad. You want to be out there away from the major metropolitan areas. The cities are just going to get bizarro. But that's not realistic for everybody. Okay, not everybody's going to be able to go and be in the country and be there living, because people have jobs, lives, medical needs and stuff like that. So the city is going to have millions and millions and millions of people that cannot get out. But guess what? It ain't all that bad. Let me explain the reason why. If you think about it, if you're in the city and you're in an apartment building, okay, and things are going crazy outside, people are looting and rioting and all that stuff, I'm like, okay, here's my take on it. If you have a plan to protect you and your family, you know what I'm talking about. At the end of the day, you can put together a good plan to keep the bad people from taking your stuff and harming you and your family. That being said, the day after all the festivities happen and things are looted and messed up and a lot of people got, for lack of a better word, like a half a crowbar stuck to their head. After all that's done, the city's gonna be a great place to be in. Let me explain why. All those buildings will have pipes full of water. So if you have the right key to open up those locks on the bottom, you got water, even if the city loses power. Every apartment building there that people fled, it's going to have some type of food, cans of something, whatever, a half a cat, whatever it may be. But you're going to have it. You're going to have clothing available, shoes available, certain electronics. You're going to have bedding, medical supplies, other medications. People leave medications behind. So from the point of view of things went bad and things ain't coming back again, one of the things I could tell you, I remember in Argentina, a lot of people lived out in the country. Well, the problem was, once they ran out of certain things or needed things, where did they have to go to? The city. Same thing with Venezuela. They had to come back to the city. Now, the problem was you had to constantly worry about leaving your home and your property and raiding parties and stuff like that. It's going to be bad everywhere. But eventually, you're going to need things. You're going to have to come back to the city. When commerce starts to develop again and barter and stuff like that, where's it going to be? The city. City's not the best place to be when everything goes down. Trust me, you're going to be awake multiple hours. But guess what? There's going to be an apartment out there that somebody abandoned that's going to have coffee, some sugar. Because people in the city, they're just basically going to just flee, run. You're going to be like, whoo, that's some real Sanka there. You have to understand, while, yes, you don't want to be in a city when things go down, but remember something, the city is, at the end of the day, the place where everybody comes back to, because that is the place where society will rebuild itself. And at the same time, if you have to kind of go around and find things and stuff like that, and I'm just telling you realistic stuff. I've spoken to people that have been in hurricane zones and been in tornado places. People pretty left on their own. Look at my home country, Puerto Rico. We were kind of left on our own for 6 months without electricity there. So people had to figure out a lot of different ways of doing things. They banded together and they did what they had to do. But you have to understand, being in a city is not always the worst thing, because at the end of the day, what are you going to do? Run to the country and think that just because you're out and by the mountain, you're going to be fed? Food, water, shelter, those kinds of things are things that you're going to need. Just prepare to protect yourself. And at the end of the day, understand that the city is going to have those things available to you. Because realistically, even if you go to the country and start farming, it's probably going to take you 1 or 2 seasons in order to get any food. By then, what are you going to be like? You're going to be eating half a squirrel somewhere, for real, rubbing your face with rocks. You don't need to do that stuff. Just prepare. Put a couple of months of food away in your apartment. At the end of the day, it's no big deal. You know how many storage lockers for restaurants there are in the city? Yeah, nobody thinks about that, right? It's I got a turkey. If you're on this fucking street. Be on your roof like that. It's July, it's Thanksgiving. See the zombies outside. It don't matter. At the end of the day, who better than you? You're going to have a turkey in July. Now, eventually, that turkey is going to not be, good. So you're going to have to be half a can of tuna. But that's besides the point. But you have much better chance of finding a half a can of tuna in the city than you would out in the mountains. So the city ain't all that bad for the collapse of society. Just how you look at it, you know? Not for nothing. Just think about it. Imagine you need dental floss. Where are you going to find that in Desert Valley? You're like, I got half a raccoon stuck up there. Let me tell you something. No joke. How many tubes of toothpaste are going to be abandoned in the city? That's all I'm saying to you. Be out there in the country. God knows what's going to happen to you. You and the bear start looking at each other. Hello, gentle bear.